It's time for season 3, bitches.
I'm Jessie.
And I'm Amanda.
And we're just a couple pregnant bitches navigating motherhood together. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Pregnant Bitches podcast. Today, we're talking about something very, relevant to me. Returning to work.
Yes.
And mat leave and all the things that go on with working, going off working, coming back from working. And I'm actually returning to work.
And you're going right after we film this episode.
So it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with all of that stuff. And it's not something like you really can prepare yourself for.
No. And I wrote down a really cute, a nice little blurb that I kind of wanted to read out to start this episode.
You didn't memorize it?
I don't memorize things. So when you go on mat leave, it feels like you're going to get a break. That's what people tell you, and that's what you believe. But you don't need to wake up every morning and go to work. But really, mat leave is not a vacation that people will tell you that it is and be like, oh, you're on mat leave. Or like your husband or partner will be like, you're on mat leave. You get a break. There is no break. There is no fucking break. It is way more work and way harder than your job because it is relentless and never ending.
Yeah.
And even if you go back to work, you are still on your mat leave in your head for the rest of your life.
Yes. It's true.
That was my little blurb.
I love it. It's very well said because you think like, oh, you're on mat leave, it's vacation, this and that. It's like, it's not fucking vacation. Like, it is not vacation.
That's why people are running back to work because being a stay-at-home mom on mat leave is 10 times harder than your regular job. And then when you go back to work, especially after 2 kids, which we're going to get into, it's like
it's insane.
Your mat leave doesn't end because as soon as you get back you wake up, you're on your mat leave, let's call it again. And then you go to work and then you come back and there's no break. You're back to your mat leave life.
It's crazy. No, the other way I think about it too is like in your work world, you're slowly progressing in your career. Like unless you literally are in finance and the next day you become a chef, which it does happen.
Yes.
Every year you're doing the same job a little bit more. You get a little promotion. You get a little bit more money. You get a little bit more responsibility. Like it's all other than your first job, which is like, okay, you're a little bit caught off guard maybe. Everything is like small baby steps.
Yes.
When you now are thrown into the world of motherhood, there is no training.
There is no training.
There is no preparation. There are no baby steps. It is one day you are not and one day you are.
Yes. Soon as you honestly, it's literally as soon as you pee on the stick and you become pregnant, you are mom and your life changes.
Your life changes. And then when you bring that baby home, you have no fucking clue what you're doing.
No.
Nobody's really there to support you.
No.
And it's not like you have coworkers that can take on a
responsibility
like when I go on vacation, I give my stuff to somebody else and they handle my meetings for me. If I have to leave early for an appointment, there is somebody for there is no backup. You have no backup.
There's no backup.
It's just you.
It's just you. There is no backup.
It's just you with the baby and it's not like you can talk to the person and reason with them. You have a 3-month-old that's screaming in your face, bloody murder.
Yep.
And you're like, is it the diaper? Is it the bottle? Is it the food? Is it
Did you eat? Do you have to sleep?
Like,
they're very, very hard bosses. They're the hardest bosses you're ever going to have.
And then you think about, in Canada, some people get a year, some people get 6 months, some people get 18 months. Like obviously the time changes, but like I would say the first 1 to 6 months, it's definitely not vacation. Like around 5-6 months, they start to get cute and it's fun.
Right.
But you could still be breastfeeding, which is exhausting. Like it's not really vacation. Then 6 months to 12 months, it's more fun.
Yes.
But either you're going back to work, you're preparing to go back to work, you are back at work.
You're already back at work. So should we talk about returning to work after baby number 1? Let's talk about our first stories and then we'll get into returning.
Second. So mine was different than yours. I was bored. I honestly was bored.
The first time
4 months, I was bored.
You were. I remember you dropping. We had a baby class and you being like, guys, Siggy's here. And you would like go off on a phone call.
No, I was bored. I was really
You didn't want to join our baby classes?
No, I did. But like, once you make the decision to go back, you're going back.
You're in it.
And you're in it. And in hindsight, I think it was early to go back at like 4 months, 5 months. But like, I didn't know what else to do. Like I was like literally sitting at home being like, this is insane.
It's boring.
It is boring. So boring.
It is boring.
And your husband's coming home blabbing about all his work things and la la la. And I'm like,
Like, I want to have something else.
But then it's really hard to manage. Like, I found it really difficult to be a working mom. Like, with one kid, it was very tough. And it was, you're trying to be really on at work and then trying to be really on at home. And it was still COVID. So, like, I was working from home and the baby was at home and I was like
everything
in a meeting
was together.
And he's crying and I was like, blah.
And you had the mom guilt of like being with him, but you were also bored and you wanted to do that. Yeah.
It's I not that I want to be at an office 9 to 5 every day, but I do think there's something about like leaving your house and your kid, going to work, being at work, doing it well, and then coming home and being with your kid.
Your brain is
it's
working.
too hard to
your brain
be
is
in
working.
your office, in your house with the door shut and your kid is crying in the next room and you're like
I want to go, but I shouldn't, and I have to do this. You're like getting pulled in so many different directions.
It's very tough.
I was working in the NICU because I thought in my head that it would distract me from what was going on. That was crazy.
Did it?
That was absolutely crazy. I had my computer. I was literally working in the NICU, and I actually didn't take a mat leave until we were on vacation at 6 months.
Wow.
So I worked from all throughout pregnancy in the NICU, maybe not during labor and delivery, but as soon as I was in the NICU, I was working at 6 months, and basically I had a mental breakdown at 6 months, and I was like, I can't do this. I need a break. I want to just enjoy the baby. And that was that.
In hindsight, it's actually easier to work when they're 1 to 6 months old.
It's way easier.
Than
he was
6
on
to 12
me.
months.
He was on me, but I think I just kind of was like, I feel like everyone around me was like enjoying the baby. My friends would come over, and I would literally be sitting on the computer while hanging out with like Arlo on me. Like, it was so cute, but like, why? Like, I should have just enjoyed the first 6 months.
You should have.
So,
but I will say, like, now looking back, like when they're so newborn, they do just sit next to you or on you, and you could technically do a couple things, but you're so fucked up mentally that like it's not a good idea.
No,
like that's true. When people say you need a mat leave to recover yourself. Like, it's insane to ask people to like be on for something else when like they like if somebody has crazy intense surgery, do they have to go back to work? No, they have to go on bed rest.
Birthing a baby, having a C-section, birthing vaginally is all major, and you have to give yourself the time.
Yeah. So number one, we both were like, what the fuck? But with number two, I think with number two, it's really nice because you get to enjoy the older one.
Yes.
That's really the secret sauce.
You got to enjoy that.
You are home and you get to be with the older one, and they're at such a fun age because I'm sure for most people they're between, 1.5 to 3.
To 3, yeah, I was going to say.
And it's amazing. Yeah. Like, that is amazing. And you get to it's exhausting, but it's amazing. And like, for me this time around, it's been the complete opposite.
Yeah, and we started a podcast too.
Well, yes, it's been busy. But it's like, yes, that's also been a full-time job.
I really took away from a lot from your mat leave.
Yes, I've been
we did. Like, this is a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. It is another job.
It's fully a job.
And it's fun and it's great and I love doing it. And it doesn't feel like work, but it is like, it's time consuming.
It's definitely
for sure.
time consuming. We love it and we're continuing.
Yes.
We're not stopping. No. This is not our end video.
But no, I think this time around, I've like had much more anxiety returning to work. It's not that I don't want to work. It's that I can't compute how I'm physically going to manage it all.
That's what I was going to say. How are you in your head? In your head, you're like, how am I going to do everything that I have done already where I'm basically at my end? Like, I'm just like, where do I turn left, right? I don't know. On top of adding a job, that's a 9 to 5 job.
Yes.
Where we laugh about schools starting at 8:30 and ending at 3:30.
I'm sorry. Like,
who invented
on what
school?
Planet did you say school should be 8 to 3 and work is 9 to 5? Do you not know math?
Obviously.
Do you know that 3 and 5 p.m. is a 2-hour window in which I have no childcare?
Right.
Like, I'm sorry. What am I fucking supposed to do?
That's why they have preschool. No, daycare preschool time opening to daycare after, because like a lot of our friends start work at 8 a.m. in Mississauga or an hour drive away. You got to get your kids to school. So many people have to pay for that pre-care at these schools, especially at this young age where like someone has to watch your kid.
No, it's actually insane what you're supposed to do. And I've been fortunate enough to have a live-in nanny, and so she can, if I have to go to an early morning meeting, can start a little earlier. Or if I have West Coast clients, so
there you go.
Sometimes I have calls at 5, 6, 7.
There you go.
If I have somebody leaving at 5, or if I have to pick someone up at 5, like what the actual fuck are you supposed to do?
And I'm also going to tell you, what about, you haven't even thought about, once you start today, what happens if the school calls and you have to pick up a kid from school?
No, that's literally, one of my friends just called me. She goes, my daughter had pink eye all week, and I've
they
been
call
like
you
working from home, and she's homesick, and like,
and they call you right away, and it always falls on the mom first.
Always.
The mom is first. The phone call goes straight to the mom.
For
You
sure.
have to drop everything that you're doing and you go and pick up your kid.
No, when you actually think about, like, I just even will walk through my day. Like, I wake up, first of all, I don't sleep. My kids don't sleep through the night. No. My baby doesn't, for sure.
No.
So let's go on a good day. Last night slept, like my older one was up at 7. My younger one's up at 8. This was a good day because he was up at 4.
That is a good day.
So he ate at 4, and then he slept till 8. So 7 till 8:30 is mayhem in the morning. Breakfast, getting ready, bottles, breakfast, shoes, socks, this, that, out the door.
Those are the hardest 2 hours of the whole day, I think.
We always are late for school. Always. School's
But you can't be late for school once A, they're a little bit older, and B, you have to get to work.
Yeah, I say school, he's 3, but whatever. Anyway, and then, yeah, you can be late. It's fine. But it's more that you don't care if they're late for school. You care if you're late for work.
That's
on the other end of it. Yes, 100%. So then I'm only a 10-minute drive. Yeah. So it's 10 minutes, that's 20 minutes. I'm lucky if I am back by 9. And this is work from home.
Yes.
Imagine I'm at an office. Then you work all day. Fine. I have my baby is with a nanny. Okay. Because now I'm returning to work.
Yeah.
But still that whole thing of I'm home and they're calling me. It's fucked up.
And then you get home and
then
there's no rest.
And then 3:00 rolls around and someone has to pick that kid up.
Yep.
So it's me, my husband, my nanny schleps the baby. I haven't even figured this one out yet. I don't even know what's going to happen. And then from 3 to 5, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then I have meetings maybe till 6 or 7.
Yep.
Who's making dinner?
We got to get Jesse.
When am I working
We got to
out?
get Jesse some rate comp pills like stat.
Fuck. Like,
you're going to figure it out.
And then you tell me when I'm supposed to see my friends. Then you tell me I'm supposed to put this kid in programs.
Yes.
Right? Like after school programs.
Yes.
Who's taking him to these things.
You're going to get a grandparent. You're going to dedicate
I work with my mom, so that's really fucking not helpful.
I'm going to take Ziggy to Taekwondo.
No, this is why I guess people say like you want to be like in the neighborhoods, go to school in your neighborhoods, like
find mom friends that
carpooling. Like my mom did carpool.
There
like,
you go.
When we were little. And,
that's what you're going to do.
And she and
you will figure it out.
I will figure it out.
You and everyone else that's listening and going through the exact same thing. Like one of our good girlfriends did it. She has 2 kids.
No, it's definitely doable.
It's very stressful.
It's just all of that anxiety has been building up for months in my head. And I'm just like,
I know.
And then you layer on top, like, I love men to death, but has he stressed one bit?
No. They don't
at all.
They don't stress over that at all. And they run to work. They are so excited to leave the house.
I will say, because I said to my husband, I'm like, I actually don't know how we're going to pick Ziggy up. He's like, I can do it. Yes. I will do 3 p.m.
they have
every
to
day.
Take some of the mental load
and then
off.
For the last week, he's like, I can't do this week. I have a meeting this week. I can't. I'm like, I told you, you're not going to.
Yeah, you have to go with the flow and with the schedule. Like, so you have to like plan it out.
I literally, I got to post this.
I'm
going to show it to you because it's actually insane.
Okay, show it to me.
You're not going to be able to see it on the podcast, but I will post it after. Look at this calendar thing I have in the back.
Yeah, because you want to plan everything out.
You have to.
You have to. Especially one kid, 2 kid, back to work. You got to plan everything out. I have everything on my calendar. And I have my husband's calendar.
Yeah, you got to
combine the calendars.
You got to sync
You got to know who's home, who's doing this, who's doing that. So question for you. How do you tell, because my boss was technically like my husband, father-in-law, but how do you tell, well, your boss is your mom, but how do you tell your boss you're pregnant again, especially if it's close together?
So I actually had a dicey situation because I work in a small business, so it's not a huge team. And one of the girls was returning, like my counterpart was returning from work from her mat leave, but she was still on mat leave. And I was like, you're starting like pretty soon because I'm fucking pregnant also.
Right.
And she was like, oh my God. So it's like you're nervous to tell people you're pregnant because like it has really big impacts. Like obviously you want to have your family and start your life.
Of course.
Duh.
And also like wherever you work, like people assume a woman between like 25, 36, 37, just got married, like
already has a kid.
Gonna have kids. You're gonna have kids.
But it's not an easy conversation.
No.
Look, if it's far enough apart, people start asking you, when are you having a kid? When are you having a kid? That's not so hard.
Yes.
It's more like in your scenario,
back
or other
to back,
people,
being
back
like,
to back. You literally go back to work for 4 months and then you're like, I'm pregnant again.
Yeah.
And for at least in Canada, like you have to be working for a certain amount of time.
I think it's a year. Is it not?
I don't know how, it's a number of weeks to qualify for EI for then your company to potentially pay you top up.
So it's very stressful.
But it's very stressful. It's not an easy conversation. It's very awkward. Like you can't change it. And obviously like you want that kid.
Of course.
But like
they make it, I feel like they make women feel bad about it when they shouldn't.
No matter the way you cut it, like if you're in and out of your job because of pregnancy, like you're just falling behind in your career. And this is the conversation that I find very difficult because it's like you want to be a career woman. You want to be successful.
You want to do it all.
You have done it all. Now you're taking a step back because you want to have your kids. You also don't want to miss these short years that are going to come and go. But then when my kid is 10 and doesn't want to be with mommy anymore, then what am I going to be doing? Like it's a very weird, like I feel like everybody goes through this, but nobody's like
talks about it
or figured it out in a way that's like manageable for women. Like it's like be a mom but have a career. Yeah. But if you have a career, then you're not with your kids enough and like you're now a bad mom. And then if you're like stay-at-home mom, then like you're a loser because you don't have a career and you don't have a job and then you're not making your own money. And then but like
everyone has to figure it out on their own.
Can't
whatever works for your family, whatever works for you is the only way.
I know. It's just like navigating that. And often like you're navigating it a little bit alone because like you're kind of an N of one in your family. Like your husband is there to help you, but to a certain
nothing
extent,
really changes for him. Whereas everything has changed for women as soon as they pee on that fucking stick. Yeah. Everything. Career, mom, life, friends, every single thing changes. Nothing really changes for the guy.
No, their careers never stop and start. No. Your careers, like it actually takes a lot more resilience and energy to stop and start. Like imagine going on a run and every 5 minutes you have to fully stop.
Yes.
Take a break, sit, and then keep running.
Oh, you wouldn't do it.
The husband
you don't want to do it. Just
always running.
And gets
he
to
has
the finish
momentum
line.
And keeps going. And you're just
I never
fucking
thought about it that way.
Start. It's like the momentum to like wind down, wind back up, like start again, change your brain, go here. It's like
being a woman.
I'm sorry. I feel like I'm spastic this episode.
You're allowed to be spastic. This is life.
What I feel like people go through. Yes. And it's exhausting.
Yes. And I want to say, I feel like, especially now, since your kids are so little, but I feel like truthfully in like 8 years from now, it's going to be so normal. Yeah. Like, I mean, like so normal in the sense that like school drop off, this, that, they're old enough to do things. So it's honestly just these main years
100%,
that are so horrible.
And then they also say like, you're your kid's favorite person for like the first 10 years. And they want to, and they have like you want them to be attached to you because you also want to raise your kids. Like, the other thing is like, do you really want all these random strangers raising your kids? No. Like if your kid is going to daycare or school at 7 a.m. and being picked up at 7 p.m., you're not seeing your child?
Your kids. No, but many people have to do that because they can't afford any other way.
Like it just feels like there has. I'm not going to be the one to Josh said he wanted to start a school yesterday.
There we go.
We are annoyed with the whole school system here.
No, it's crazy.
It's nuts.
It is nuts.
And it's a very off-putting taste in your mouth. But all that to say, like, I feel like there just has to be a better way.
We're going to figure out a better way.
But I do think a lot of people are finding a better way. Like, I think a lot of people are pushing for more work-life balance and like, you know,
a lot of people are trying to present, and a lot of people from what I've heard is trying to work at home not going to the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Well, you do.
So you kind of get that
save,
balance.
Like, for instance, for me, like if I can have a longer morning with my kid,
Yes.
drop him off at school, I'm still at my desk at 9.
Yes.
I'm just not doing that half an hour commute.
Yes.
And then, pick up whatever on the other end. But like I'm done at 5 and I go downstairs and I can instantly make dinner or something. Yes. It's the commute. The commute kills you.
Yes.
It really kills you.
Yes. But you will find your balance. Now you're just like, you're like literally in the thick of starting this.
And it's also like you want to be with your kids at this age. Of
course.
You really do. It's so fun.
Of course. But you're going to figure it out. I promise you you're going
to
figure it out.
But I will say that if you see a woman who has a career and has multiple children, she fucking rocks, because
she fucking
it is
does
not
rock. I agree.
Easy. If you see a man successful in his career, it's impressive.
It's impressive.
For sure, it's
but
impressive.
When you see a woman, it is way more impressive.
Way more.
I agree.
Especially a mom that has multiple kids that's successful in something that she does.
I agree.
Because like other moms know what goes on behind the scenes.
100%. And you give her a pat on the
back. And I don't
back.
think men really necessarily appreciate this level of success, but I'm like, that is she's a rock star.
She's a rock star.
And a lot of women.
You are a rock star.
Okay, thank you. No, a lot of women in our life are rock stars because like most people I know work. I don't know any really stay-at-home moms.
There you go.
Most women I know work.
There you go.
So it's like, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
And
you're going to figure it out. And you look stressed right now, so I'm going to give you
do I need the
calm pills before Jessie goes back to work after this episode, but you're not alone.
Oh, this is actually a good one.
You have another one? What was the hardest part about transitioning back to work after mat leave? Leaving your babies. To me, my answer is leaving my baby at home.
With somebody else.
Yeah.
For me,
especially the first baby where you don't want to let anyone. That's why even when I was working on the computer, I had Arlo on me at the same time.
Right.
Like I didn't want to give the baby up.
No, especially at that age.
Yeah.
For me, it was like not feeling like I was doing any job well.
Right.
Like until you get your rhythm back,
right.
which I did by like the end of my last work period before
right.
mat leave. You're like kind of in meetings, kind of with your kid, not really sure.
You're not
it's like
fully present in one space.
No.
You're kind of all over the place.
And my mom gave me the best advice. She was like, give your 100% attention to the task at hand.
Smart.
When you are at work, be at work. Put your phone down. Do not obviously have your phone available, but don't start messaging people, asking things, checking everything. No. Be at work, do your job well. And then when you go home, put your work away and be with your family and do that well. And it was very helpful because otherwise you're just,
you're
my brain that was present 10 minutes ago is like, the whole time.
There was that Instagram where it was be at work at this time, blah, 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 blah. Did you see that? Where it's
yes.
Boom, 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 boom. That's literally what goes on in women's brains 24/7.
Yes. And they say, if you want to get something done, give it to a busy mom.
Literally.
She'll get it done. She'll get it done. But I do think motherhood made me better in my career.
100%.
Because I think all the stuff that I used to overthink, I would procrastinate or, all the things that I just don't have time.
No, you're like, I'm going to get it done. Because if I don't get it done, it's never getting done.
I have an hour and by 6 p.m. I'm done and I can't take a meeting and I have to be with my kids. So give it to me now and I'll finish it and it will be done.
There you go.
And so maybe moms feel more successful.
Moms are
in their careers because
fucking rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. It really is when people say they work 2 jobs, if you work and you are a mom, you work 2 jobs.
You work 2 jobs.
100%. And if you have a second job, you work 3 jobs.
You work 3 jobs. I agree.
Because this is a full-time job.
I 100% agree.
Speaking of which, I have to go to work.
Jessie has to go back to work. We're going to end it off there. Just want to say again, you are not alone. We are always here. Going back to work, getting off of mat leave is a very, very tough, sad, happy, all around situation.
It's emotional. Anyway, you cut it.
You got it. Jessie's got it. We're rooting for her. And we love you all and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.